Hey everybody, hope you're well. Welcome to another Cheltenham preview with me, Daryl Carter, for CheltenhamFestival.net. This week, we are taking a look at the Ryanair Chase, a top-class race, and it takes a really decent horse to win this. Interesting little fact for you, straight at the start at the beginning of the video. Expect the ground to quicken up over the week. Only once in the last 10 years has this race been run on soft ground. Always had good to soft in, or good in the going description, at least 9 times in the last 10 years. So that could play a factor for those horses that desperately need soft ground. Now, 7-year-olds have come to the fore in recent years in this race, winning 4 of the last 5 run-ins. Only 4 of the last 10 winners were favourites. The average SP is 8-1. Britain overshadows Ireland in this race in the last 10 years. 7 winners for Britain, 3 winners for Ireland. And the quality of this race, like I mentioned, is really up to scratch. The average official rating of every winner in the last 10 years is 167, the average. That's just £1 lower than the Champion Chase over 2 miles. This race is run over 2 miles, 4 furlongs, 4.5 furlongs. And course form is very important to horses to win this race. 10 of the last 10 winners all had previous Cheltenham form, and staggeringly 8 out of the last 10 winners had course winning form. So that could play a huge part. Where do we stand at the moment with our runners? A Pluton heads to market, 11-4 with Betfair, a little bit bigger elsewhere. We haven't seen him since winning at Leopardstown back at the end of December, beating Chacon Poursois, who was having his first start of the season, by 3 lengths. Redley drew clear in the closing stages. Jumped well throughout. Really looked like a decent horse. That was on soft ground that day. He was due to run again against Chacon Poursois at the Dublin Racing Festival, but was pulled out because of the quick ground. So bear that in mind. But that was over 2 miles. I think his better trip is over 2.5. He's only run over this trip twice in his short career to date. One of them was winning the Close Brothers last year at the Cheltenham Festival. So there's your Cheltenham form kicked off. There's your Cheltenham winning form ticked off the list. He beat Tower Bridge last year by 16 lengths and was one of the most impressive displays of the whole Cheltenham Festival. Now, he actually recorded a Racing Post rating higher than any other Close Brother winner. So he definitely deserves his place in the top of the market. Henry de Bromhead is flying at the moment, and there's a lot to like about this horse. Completely unexposed, really likeable type, only a 6-year-old, has not had many starts at all. In fact, he's only had 7 career chase starts. He's won 3 of those, 3 seconds and a third. Really nice horse. I think he's got a fantastic chance. He's the right market leader. There's not a lot of value, in my eyes, in my opinion, at the head of the market at the moment. I'm looking elsewhere. Next in is Min at around 7-2. The highest rated horse in the race, bar surname, but we'll get to him in a moment. Min's a 9-year-old now, run at the festival 3 times. All 3 times been behind Altior. Was arguably most disappointing last year in the Champion Chase, only managing a 5th. But did run really nicely at the Dublin Racing Festival to get within 3 3/4 lengths of Chacon Poursois. Now, all of you are going to turn around straight away and say, well, on the bare form of that, Min's got no chance to reverse form with a Pluton. That was over 2 miles. This is over 2.5 miles. Min definitely wants a step up in trip nowadays. Been an outstanding chaser over the years. Rated 171. Like I say, run at the course 3 times. Was arguably the best 2-mile chaser around bar Altior, and a step up in trip has worked wonders for him. His form figures over 2.5 miles read 1-1-2-1. The 2 came at Aintree behind Politolog when beaten ahead last year, and not last year, back in 2018, and it really does deserve his day in the sunshine. He'll be primed for this. I suspect this will be one of Willie Mullins' better chances throughout the week, and Min is a very attractive price at 7-2, considering what he's achieved compared to the rest of the field. Frodon, last year's winner, is next in line at 13-2. He made all the running last year, stayed on very gamely. One of the stories of the festival, Bryony Frost and Frodon's relationship. It was outstanding to see. Paul Nicholls definitely made the right choice last year, obviously, because he won it. Going to the Ryanair, not the Gold Cup. They're going to I think they're going to come back again this year. He's at 13-2. Been a bit below his best since that run last year. But he has had excuses for that. First time out at Aintree, he finished third, 15 lengths behind Forrest Behan. And that form is nowhere near enough to win this. But a lot of the fences were omitted. And I do know that he was desperate for the run that day. Haydock was his next out. He was beaten 27 lengths by Lost in Translation in the Betfair Chase, the Grade 1. But that came over 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs, the Gold Cup trip. Perhaps they were just testing the water there. He then came good, dropped back in trip at Kempton, beating a horse called Keeper Hill and Top Notch and Born Survivor. Now, he did it quite well that day. He found extra. He's not a horse that does everything flashy. He's gutsy. He tries his heart out. He's a fantastic little horse. Is he good enough to win this renewal? I think this renewal was much stronger than the race he won last year. He's going to have to improve on ratings to beat the front two in the market. And I don't think he's going to get a soft lead out in front this time around. Min will like to go from the front. There's other horses in here that are known for their front running tactics. I don't think they're going to have things all their own way. And I think he's got an uphill, literally an uphill battle to climb, to fight this time around. Riders of the Storm, my anti-post bet, 10-1 is in next to 8-1. I think he's available still at around 10-1. This horse has had a remarkable start for Nigel Twiston-Davies. He's won both his chase starts this term. One at Aintree on soft ground, beating Sepage and Old Grange Wood. That form was emphatically boosted. Both horses have come out and won since. Old Grange Wood came out next time and beat Kalashnikov, who's rated 155. So he was definitely going to improve for that run because he is such a big, burly horse. He went out to Ascot next time and destroyed on the blind side by 7 lengths. And Paloma Blue and Adrian de Pont and Double Shuffle off the top of my head, I think. That was over 2 mile 5 furlong. That was on heavy ground. They do say he needs cutting the ground, which would be a slight worry. But he has winning novice chase form on good to soft ground. So he is definitely going to be a player. He needs to improve on the ratings. He's rated 162. The only bit of Cheltenham form he has is when falling in the close brothers behind a Pluton. Now, already I can feel you all saying a Pluton must be the one because the form lines behind him, etc., etc. And you're on the right lines, definitely. That is probably the way this may well go. But we're looking for a horse that could improve just as much as a Pluton. And Riders on the Storm is definitely one of them if he gets his conditions. If it does come up good ground, I'd be slightly concerned about that. But I still was willing to take a chance. This is a really competitive race. Next in is Surname. 177 rated chaser. 10-1 for this race. So you're all saying, why is this horse 10-1? Well, let me tell you, this horse has earned his official rate of 177 and the title of the best horse in training by winning at Ascot for 2 times in a row at the beginning of last year. Impressively beating a Grade 1 field by 17 lengths over 2 miles 5. He beat Altior on return, but I suspect he was definitely fit for the day that time around. He then went to the King George at Kempton as a well-fancied horse at 5-4 favourite, and he really disappointed. He went back to his old ways. Now, Ascot is a right-handed, stiff, galloping track, 2 miles 5, normally on soft ground is what he likes. That's where he's earned his ratings. He hasn't done it at Cheltenham, and he needs to prove he can go left-handed. That is the reason you're getting 10-1 for him. Will he turn up? I am not entirely sure. Real Steel next in at the market, 12-1 this horse. Again, another talking about having to go left-handed. This horse has won all of his chase starts, all 5 of his chase starts on right-handed tracks. 3 times he's been to Leopardstown, which is a left-handed track. He's fallen twice and finished 5th, I believe, on the other start. He does have a bit of Cheltenham form. He finished 6th in the JLT behind Defi de Saul, but he was well beaten by nearly 19 lengths. So he's got a lot to prove, despite the improving Racing Post ratings and the improving official rating this term. He is improving. He's only 7. He may well pull it out of the bag yet. He's 12-1 if you fancy his chances. But I'd just be concerned with such depth in this field. That horse going here who's never ran left-handed or never won a chase start left-handed would worry me considerably. Chacun Poursois next in at 20-1. Not going to run here. Definitely going to go Champion Chase. Dynamite Dollars also we will go for the Champion Chase, I suspect. Janica has been more than disappointing since a promising first chase for a first season over fences for Nicky Henderson last term. But his form again is not good enough to match up with the top of the market. Politolog probably won't go here. He'll probably skip Cheltenham altogether and go to Aintree, I would have thought. That will be his likely target this term. St Calvados will likely run in this race. He has improved just slightly since stepping up to this sort of trip, and he's completely unexposed. He's a really nice horse. He likes to go from the front though. He didn't last time. He was held up, which was interesting tactics because he used to be a bit of a nutcase and he used to just fly off. But really impressed with his nose second behind Old Grange Wood in a Paddy Power handicap chase at the beginning of January. I thought that was an improved effort on what he's done before, but Old Grange Wood was boosting the form of riders on the Storm. So he's got a little bit to find. Underso, the valiant 12-year-old, the lovable Underso is in at 20-1. Again, I think, despite him being an outstanding horse, I think he just may be on the slight decline. Love him to death, but couldn't have him for this race. Silios Emery will probably go for the Champion Chase. ASO will turn up here. It looks massive price at 33-1, considering he finished 1.25 lengths behind Frodon last year. Although this race does look much stronger than the field last year. But lovable ASO, this would have been the target for him. He ran no sort of race at Kempton in the King George on his first attempt at 3 miles. This is his trip. Really nice horse. 3 miles just definitely stretched him. He was beaten by Ballyoptic back in November as well at Wetherby, which is a flat track. He wants this trip. I think he's a lovely horse for Venetia Williams. Out to Cadmium, 33-1 for Willie Mullins. Beaten 95 lengths, 53 lengths, and 2 3/4 lengths in 3 of his last 4 starts. That would slightly be a worry. I think they're going to aim this horse at Aintree. He was a really, really impressive winner of the Topham Chase. And I think the Grand National is definitely going to be the plan for Cadmium. Sepage is next in line. Now, this is another horse for the same colours and for the same trainer as Venetia Williams. Sepage, 33-1. Massive price, considering he's been carrying huge weights in handicaps all season. Finally came good last time with a gutsy performance off the front. A little horse, really reminds me of Frodon. I think he has got a bit of class about him and he is talented. Whether he's good enough to beat the likes of Min, Riders on the Storm, Frodon again, and a Pluton, I'm not entirely sure. I think we should be definitely focusing on the head of the market here. Now, there is one horse in this race that I do really like at a big price, but it infuriates me that his trainer thinks that he can go again for another Gold Cup. Madness. Bristol Demai, 40-1, 50-1 in places. I think Nigel Twiston-Davies needs to throw in the cards with a Gold Cup trip, drop back to the Ryanair and let him bowl along. He doesn't get home. He doesn't get up the hill over the Gold Cup trip. He's been there twice now. He didn't even get the trip in the Cotswold Chase behind Santini, despite making a few mistakes. He's done the same thing. If you go and watch all of his videos, he does the same thing going up that hill, just fading. He doesn't get up it at all. Drop him back and trip, let him bowl along. I bet he finishes strong. Bristol Demai, this is the race for him, Nigel Twiston-Davies. Please don't be silly and send him to the Gold Cup again. But that's about it. We are right out there. That is it. The head of the market looks the place to focus on. No one would blame you for taking any price about Min, a Pluton, Riders on the Storm, or even Frodon, to be honest with you. But I think the main 3 protagonists are Riders on the Storm, Min, and a Pluton. I am still sitting on the fence. Not something I normally do. I normally like to get off that fence as soon as possible, as you can tell with my strong opinions. But those are the 3 I'd be siding with. If you're pushing me for a bet right this minute, and it's going to be good ground, I would say Min. Any sort of soft in the ground, I think Riders of the Storm's got a fantastic chance. A Pluton, I really like him. I really do. It's just that run against Chacon Poussoir over 2 miles worries me. If he can be that good over two miles at the top level, can he do the same thing at 2.5? Not many horses can. Min can. So it would be Min. But thank you very much for listening. I hope that's a little bit more information about some of the riders. I know I've blown through it quite quickly. Any questions, pop them down below. I'm trying to get back to every single one of you. So thank you very much for listening. And check out CheltenhamFestival.net. We'll have another preview coming next week. So keep your eyes out. Thanks very much.